I've got 27-24.
You're on the spread, so you want to go up or down? What do you want to do here?
Wait, is it 3 points?
Yeah.
27. 27-23. 27.
Ah, Dan,
Yep.
You messed it up.
That was last week. I wanted to pick Vikings 27, Seahawks 24. I wasn't allowed to because one of the rules here is we don't pick pushes. Vikings were favored by 3, and they won 27-24. That's close enough. Not that anybody cares except me, but I care. I got it right. Hooray for me.
Wait, so your score was 27-23?
Right.
And what did I pick it at? Because I picked
28-24.
Oh, because I changed it that way. Because I'm looking
we almost
back
had
at
a
my
bingo
past
bango.
games. Well, yeah, because I picked 27-24 in the game, but changed it as well. So that kind of stinks. Bingo bango, bingo bango. We'll see if we have any today.
Yeah, probably not. It is the PFTPM, Chris Simms Unbuttoned, Jordan Mega Picks podcast, presented by Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Or delivered by Little Caesars. I knew something wasn't
pizza,
right there, but I
pizza.
couldn't quite remember what it was. Official pizza sponsor of the NFL. Now's your line.
Pizza again.
All right. Drinky, smoky. Oh, wait, it's smoky. If you do drinky, then smoky, that can get you in some trouble.
A little trouble.
You gotta go
I always
smoky,
warn
then
anybody that's that wants to smoke my stuff. I go, let's start off smoking and then drink, because if you're going to have a few drinks and get tipsy and then smoke my stuff, which is on the usual, as strong as you can buy anywhere, right? You're going to start spinning in every which direction possible, and you're probably going to throw up or pass out. It's one of the two. And I've had a few of those, and I don't want any more wives or anybody yelling at me for just listening to a 40-year-old man say he wants to take a hit, and here you go, and then all of a sudden the night's ruined because he can't handle his shit. I've had that happen before.
A 50-something-year-old man might have learned that lesson in Arizona a couple years ago, but frankly, I can't remember any of it.
Let me just tell you a quick story. I was in Tennessee once, right? Nashville, second time there playing for the Tennessee Titans. Went out with a dinner date with another couple in our neighborhood. Great couple, right? Had a lot of fun. And they were a little older than us. I'm going to say 7-8 years older than us, right? And we got done with the end of the night, and the guy, we're sitting on the back patio of my house, enjoying the nice night, drinking whatever, and he says he wants to smoke a little. So I go, okay. I tell him, be careful. Just be careful. Let's do one hit. Oh, one's okay. I'm going to do two. I'm going to do two. I mean, within minutes. We're sitting there. He just keels over, literally face into the pasta type of thing. Just keels over and is out cold. And the wife looks at me and she's like, "What'd you do? What did you give him?" And, we didn't know him that well. It was our first dinner date together, and I remember feeling like such a jerk. But we shook him up and woke him up out of his slumber there.
Did you ever have a second dinner date with
No,
this
we
couple?
did not. That was the last one. You're right about that. That was it.
There might or might not have been a moment in Arizona 2 years ago under the scenario you described where someone I know thought that time had stopped at 10:53 p.m. Pacific time, and it was never, ever going to move again. And that 1 minute lasted an eternity.
An eternity, right. That can happen.
So,
that's the good stuff. Yeah. All right, let's go.
All right, so we only have 14 games to pick because we already selected the winners for
So we're
Wednesday.
already 2-0 straight up this week.
We're already 2-0. This is last week. They haven't changed the photos, but that's okay. I'm fine with being the reindeer with two little shits on his head, and that is a good Chris as Herbie, as long as, again, he doesn't put those giant hands in anyone's mouth once he becomes a dentist. That's what we did yesterday. We both were accurate in picking the Chiefs, although we had more faith in the Steelers than we should have. We picked the Steelers to cover. They failed. We both picked the Ravens to win and cover. You had 31. You just didn't have 2.
Yeah, right.
Just if you can just rub that zero
off, we're all good.
31-2.
Yeah. Yeah, good start last week. I should have been 2-1 in my best bets last week. That Jalen Hurts getting hurt. I mean, come on. Gosh, that hurt me. That could have gave me a little more of a cushion against you there, but either way,
I'm not coming back on best bets.
Good.
I concede best bets.
Well, I'm coming back on straight up, just so you know.
Yeah, put it straight up your ass. I got that graphic off of there quickly because, I was bad last week. I mean, 9-7. I'll take any time I'm on the right side of 500, but we disagreed on 2 games, and you won both of them. And then 5-10-1 against the spread. I mean, I had been having a good year. I'm still 35 games over 500 against the spread. Good. To have a shit game like that, shit week like that, and still be 35 over 500, it's been a good year. But again, I'm not trying. I don't like picking games against the spread. I'll just pick a score, and we'll see where the spread goes, as we've well established. All right, so we've got 2 weeks left in the regular season, and we are off to a 2-0 start straight up. Let's get to it. Thursday Night Football, the last Thursday night game of the year. This one didn't get flexed. I'm surprised, but there aren't a lot of good options this week. Seahawks still alive for the NFC West. Bears are dead and dead and deader. The Seahawks are only favored by 4 points at Soldier Field with an over-under of 42. Who you got?
Well, I do think Chicago can keep this close, right? I'm going to take Seattle. I don't have the guts to take Chicago right now in the midst of this losing streak and feeling like they're a team that's kind of devastated by all the things that have happened. I can't, but can I see a way? Do I think they could keep it close? Yes, I do. I mean, again, last week, really, you take away those 2 turnovers to start the game. They moved the ball a little on Detroit. Of course, that gave Detroit momentum early and got it going. Caleb Williams has played okay. I don't know if they're going to be able to run the ball on the Seattle defense. That's going to be the big question, but I think there will be some opportunities for Caleb Williams and those receivers to have some favorable, aggressive looks from that Seattle secondary to where they can make some plays there. The other side of the ball, too, I look at it and think, hey, the Bears could give the Seahawks some problems. The Seahawks, their offense, it's not overly complex. We talk about it a lot. They're a big play offense. That's what they are. They're not one that's going to surgically destroy you, go on 12-play drives, and just slowly choke you out as the game goes on. So I think we're in store for a pretty good game, but I'm still going to take the Seahawks. I'm going to take them 24-17 on the road. And, the weather and all that stuff tonight, Seattle out in real cold Chicago, I think that can make them maybe not play their best football either.
Here's the great unknown this time of year. We talked about it last week. Which teams really give a crap at this stage of the season? Right. If you're done, are you showing up? The Bears were down 20-0 before you knew it on Sunday against the Lions. Then there are the Cowboys, who gave the Buccaneers a run for their money and took their money at the end of the day, winning that game when the Cowboys were eliminated just hours before the game started. That's the thing I don't know. So I'm going to, and even you could even say Seattle was kind of like, we're not making the playoffs, but they're still alive. I think when you get to this stage of the season, when you got one team that's alive and one team that isn't, the team that's alive gets the advantage because they are playing for something, and I think that is a factor. And you can say, well, it doesn't matter because they're playing for pride and they're playing for their own personal film and whether they stay with the team or land somewhere else. It's all easy to say, but when you go out there and it's cold and you're making business decisions because you don't want to get yourself injured and be rehabbing for the first half, if not longer, of the offseason, I think that matters. So I got 23-14 Seahawks. 84% of the spread money, by the way, is on Seattle. So not a surprise. I'm surprised it's only 4. I don't like to do Thursday night best bets. I'd be tempted to if this was a Sunday game, but for now I'll go 23-14 Seahawks, and we'll see if one of us makes it a best bet later in the program.
Yeah, I doubt I will. It's not one that kind of like rings true to me. I'm a little scared of that, right? Seattle is just inconsistent at times, so I don't know what to expect them. There's usually a team that I don't like to bet anything on because I don't know exactly what I'm going to get from them.
Saturday, a triple header. There were 5 games that could be moved to Saturday. 3 of them were. One of those 5 possible games ended up being the Sunday night game, but it starts at 1 o'clock Eastern with the Chargers at the Patriots. LA is favored by 4.5. The Patriots are done, and they've been done for a long time. Chargers trying to lock down a playoff berth. They're favored by 4.5, over under of 42.5. 94% of the spread money is on the Chargers. Chris, are you on the Chargers?
Of course I am. I think the big question is, do the Patriots come out and fight again? Which I feel like they will because of Gerard Mayo, and it doesn't feel like it's in the book for him being back next year. Alex Van Pelt, I do think it helps to have a rookie quarterback in these situations too, because I just think the coaching staff and organization is so intent on continuing to make them look good that it actually makes the whole team get pushed a little bit. So I'm expecting that the Patriots aren't going to lay down, but I do get a little scared. I'm not going to lie that like last week was a letdown. Like we gave our last ditch effort against the Buffalo Bills. We had a chance to win it and we blew it. And now it's like you said to start, like, do they give a shit anymore? I worry about that, but I'm going to say they do. I think they will. And here's where I'm picking the Chargers to win, and I'm going to take it 23-16. They're still playing for something, of course. They got some things to fix, and we know this is a Patriots team that's not great throughout. But I do think they can be in a pain in the ass here for the Chargers because the Patriots have a big offensive line like you saw last week. They can overpower, I think, this Chargers defensive line a little bit into – chewing up some clock, moving the ball a little bit, maybe presenting a play-action pass for Drake May. Like I said, I'm going Chargers. It's cold. It's Northeast. It's all that, but I still think they're tough and ready for this, 23-16 on the road.
I got 20-13, and there's another factor that I thought of as it relates to how badly a team wants it or doesn't want it this time of year. Christmas week, Wednesday.
Right.
Who's putting in the time to prepare?
Right.
Who's grinding film? Who's doing everything within their power to try to win the game? Who's enjoying the holiday? Now, that could lead to a team being looser and more relaxed. But when you talk about all the details necessary to get yourself ready to win a football game, the Chargers are more likely to have done it because they're playing for something. It's easy to have the letdown if you're a member of the Patriots team. You didn't put in the extra time studying film. You didn't show up as early as you ordinarily do. You didn't stay as late as you ordinarily do. Those are factors as well, making me even more confident. 20-13, Chargers win the game. Middle game on Saturday, which kind of felt like it should be the primetime game because this is a rare game this weekend with both teams having playoff implications, riding on the outcome. Broncos at the Bengals. Broncos trying to hold down their spot. Bengals trying to take that spot from the Broncos in Cincinnati. Bengals are favored by 3.5 with an over-under of 49. And Denver is an NFL best 11-4 against the spread this season. Who do you have?
Well, I mean, I'm expecting points on the board on this one. That's what I expect. I think with the brand of defense, the way the Broncos play, which can be a hair too aggressive at times, honestly, I just think that bodes well for the Cincinnati offense. Of course it does. I mean, think about it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're going to get in the face of T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and company and see if we can just shut them down like that. And no big deal. We'll cover them. And, the quarterback they got, well, yeah, he only hits the bullseye every throw he makes. So, okay. So, yeah, I think they're going to move the ball on this Denver defense, even though I got a lot of respect. Like we talk about it all the time. There are certain teams that just match up, and I don't think this is the best matchup for Denver. Now, I expect Sean Payton and company to have a few plays for this Cincinnati defense that still stinks. I mean, we know that. It's nothing special, but I think he'll be able to draw up a few plays. They should be able to run it. Bo Nix will make a few plays. I think we're going to see a really fun game on Saturday afternoon. I'm going to take the Bengals. I'm going to go 38-28. That's kind of the way I see it. I do worry that maybe I should have gave the Broncos a few more points or a hair closer, but I feel like it's like close with a late touchdown by the Bengals to put it away. Like 31-28, they go on a late drive, end the game, boom, win it, up by 10. That's kind of how I envision it going down, Mike.
We talked earlier today about the teams that are surging late, the teams that feel like they're sinking, and then there's the team that just kind of feels like it's holding on for dear life.
Yeah.
I feel like the Broncos are just kind of holding on for dear life after what happened last Thursday night against the Chargers. The Bengals are doing everything they can to try to close out an unlikely playoff run, and we know that Joe Burrow, when it feels like a playoff game, when it is a playoff game, he's even better than he ordinarily is, and he's been spectacular this year. He might be the MVP favorite if the Bengals' record wasn't so bad, or at least one of the favorites. It might be Burrow and Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen all in the conversation. But Burrow has been really good. Comeback Player of the Year might be his, already locked up. I've got the Bengals winning this one 20. Let's see. Got the score here, and I accidentally closed the email. The score I have is 24-20. So I don't have it as high scoring as you do, but I still think the Bengals win. I think the Bengals cover, and maybe the Bengals find a way into the playoffs, and maybe the Broncos, who haven't been to the playoffs since Super Bowl 50, maybe they blow something they could have won. It was 21-10 just before that fair catch free kick last Thursday night. It fell apart after that. The Broncos could wash out altogether.
No, I do worry about that, certainly. I mean, young football team, definitely. But, you know, for them to lose it, I still like their chances, I guess is what I'm saying. I know the Colts got 2 easy football games here, but I feel like with the Broncos, even if they don't win this, the fact that they'll get the Chiefs, and I doubt the Chiefs will play the full 4 quarters, hopefully that bodes well for their playoff chances. I'd like to see them in the playoffs. I know that.
Saturday night, prime time, Cardinals at the Rams. Cardinals are done. Rams trying to win the NFC West. They could clinch it this weekend. They're favored by 7. Who do you got?
Well, I'm taking the Rams. I mean, the Cardinals, again, pain in the butt. We've heard all the things that, all the things you could say about the Cardinals all year long. Now, James Conner being banged up, knee, that worries me. I mean, the offense revolves around the run game and James Conner. I mean, you really can kind of look at it. When Arizona can run the ball, they're competitive, maybe win the game, and the passing stats take off. When they can't run the ball and the passing game has to stand alone, it's usually not all that great. So I think this is one of those games right here where it'll be not that great. And I do think it's going to be a game where the Rams are going to be highly motivated to get the offense back on track, especially the passing offense. We talked about it earlier today. I've not lost faith. I don't know how much to worry the last 2 weeks. Like I've said, the 49ers, the Jets, those are 2 defensive staffs that are rooted in the same coaching tree of McVay. They know his tricks and what he likes to do in certain formations, so I'm not concerned, and I expect their offense to bounce back. I'm going to go Rams 24-20.
Yeah, even though they were beaten by the Cardinals 41-10 back in week 2, the Rams are a different team now. They've been on a tear since the bye week, and they're getting closer and closer to the brass ring. Right. Very healthy, very motivated. And, yeah, they didn't look great against the Jets last week, but they're at home for this one. I think they win it. What'd you say your score was?
I went 24-20, and I'm second-guessing myself there a little bit, but I'll stick with it.
I got 27-17. I think the Cardinals fall into the bucket of teams who are just done. They're done, and I know Jonathan Gannon, the head coach of the team, tried to talk up these next 2 games. It's an opportunity to take down a playoff team, and then they play the 49ers to finish the season. That's a rivalry, yada, yada. I don't know that the players are going to respond the way that they need to. We will see. The problem for them is they've fallen apart lately. Now that we're at the stage of the season where nothing matters to them anymore, why would we think they're going to suddenly turn it around and go on a tear? So until they do it, I'm not going to believe it. I'll take the Rams 27-17. On to Sunday, the Buffalo Bills hosting Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. It's tied for the biggest spread of the week at 8.5 with an over-under of 47. And Aaron Rodgers fully participated in practice despite a knee injury, which kind of knocked down this idea that it was just a precursor to him not playing again this season. He's played well recently. He's been needling the Jets. I think he wants the Jets to cut him, and he wants to be able to say the Jets did it, not me. But this is an opportunity for him to go in and play well again against one of the elite teams in the AFC, assuming the knee allows him to proceed. Will he play well enough to keep the Jets within the 8.5-point margin?
It's not him that I worry about. I think that's where I think they're going to move the ball on Buffalo. I expect it. I think that the way the Jets play and the way Aaron Rodgers likes to play actually bodes well against the Bills, their zone defenses, right? He'll be able to manipulate, boom here, boom, boom there, and manipulate that to a degree that these are usually the defenses he plays well against, let alone we've seen him, like you've said a few times this week, make some plays and look like a little bit the old Aaron Rodgers. Had a few plays like that last week. The problem is I worry about their defense, Mike. That's really what I'm worried about. The defense, the Jets' defense is arguably the most disappointing unit in football this year. With all the talent they got there and everything, they can't ever make a big stop or do anything big in any big moments. It's crazy. Barely don't create turnovers. They don't do any of that, and that's where I think the Bills have the advantage, right? There was a part of me that thought, should I keep this close with the Jets? I could see Rodgers running the ball and throwing the ball in this defense, but ultimately I just think it's going to be a little bit like, we let one slip away last week. It is Christmas week. We probably didn't even practice Christmas Day, or if we did, it was limited. And I think the Bills are going to be motivated that they didn't play their best, and they're going to want to play the best down the stretch. I'm going to go 34-24 Bills.
I got 27-13 Bills. And look, the Jets can move the ball. They moved it well against the Rams.
Yeah.
They just couldn't score points because they're
know.
doing dumb shit like going for it
Exactly.
5 times on fourth down and converting twice.
So stupid.
There's just a recklessness that's baked into the Jets right now. They just don't care. It's a combination of reckless and apathetic where the coaching staff's getting cleaned out after the season. I'll be surprised if anybody sticks around. Definitely Jeff Ulbrich, the interim head coach, won't be back, and we'll see where they go from here. But they got 2 more games to get through until from here can get started. So the Bills, even though the Bills, I think are they settled in as the 2 seed now?
I think they have to win out. They have to win out. I think so, because they lose a tiebreaker to the Ravens. So if they lost this week and then lost the last week, they lose that tiebreaker. Right.
So they got to win one. Magic number's probably 1 for the number 2 seed, so all the more reason for them to beat the Jets. All right. Do we have to talk about this next game? Can we just give our score and skip it?
Well,
it's
come on. You scared of Jacksonville? You're scared of your nemesis?
I just like football teams that don't suck. The Titans and the Jaguars, 2 of the worst teams in the NFL this season. It's not our fault. That's how they've played out. That's how it's emerged. They're both bad. Which one will be less bad on Sunday with the Jaguars favored by 1 and an over-under of 39.5? By the way, Tennessee is an NFL worst, 2-13 against the spread this year.
I'm gonna play a hunch and take the Titans here. I got no reason. I'm gonna go that they were embarrassed a little last week. They tried to pick up for their coach who stuck up for them last week, and then they basically were left them out to dry. And we're actually, we're gonna not play our toughest game all year after you just tell everybody we're tough. That I don't think the Jaguars can run the ball well enough here on Tennessee to take advantage of it that way. I'm just going to take it on first-year head coach, having a little late-season energy, trying to steal one game. I got no X's and O's here. That makes sense. I'll just go Titans 19-16.
It would really suck if you end up wiping out the margin, fueled by me picking the Titans last week like a moron, and now you picking the Titans this week.
It would
because
be
I got the Jaguars.
Good.
And I went with the score of 5-3 because even if that's not the final score, that's what it's going to feel like in this one.
Yeah, I hear
and anybody that actually attends, anybody who attends this game should get a pass from not having to attend another Titans-Jaguars game for the next 10 years.
If they want to attend it, maybe they'll want to go. So maybe they should get a free pass to come to any game and any ticket, from there on out. That's what it should be.
As Marie Barone once said to her husband, Frank, I'm not just some trophy wife. And he said, what contest in hell did I win? So, and hey, there was a time that was an AFC championship. 25-year anniversary. Remember that?
Yeah.
The Jaguars swept the Titans during the season. Jaguars, one of the great teams in the NFL that year, and the Titans went in and beat them.
Oh, the Titans swept the Jaguars. It was the only loss that they had the whole year. It was 14-2, and they lost to the Titans twice, and then the Titans beat them a third time in the championship game.
Oh, damn, that makes it even better.
Right? That was crazy.
I thought it was the Jaguars dominated all year, and the Titans came in and took them.
They couldn't beat the Titans. It was the only damn team they couldn't mess with that year.
Well, I stand corrected. Okay, the Raiders at the Saints. Somehow the Raiders are favored. You know why they're favored? Because Spencer Rattler is the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. The Raiders are bad, but the Saints haven't been much better. 38 is the over-under. It's the lowest of the week. Who do you trust more or not trust less in this one?
Yeah, I'm going to the Raiders. The Raiders have at least played. Aiden O'Connell has shown that he can make a few plays in the pass game. I'm going to go with that. The Saints, Spencer Rattler, the way that looked the other night, that seemed like night for the year. See you later. We're done. We're done fighting. The new coach was cool and all the energy, but it's over. So, yeah, I'm going to take Raiders 17-16.
Okay. Man, we're going to have...
Yeah, we got some needle thread in here.
We're going to have these crappy games becoming major factors in our competition because this is just pasta and meatballs. I know the Saints got embarrassed on Monday night.
Yeah.
That's all the more reason for Darren Rizzi to, stick his foot up their ass, this week and not let them be complacent during Christmas week and compel them to put in the extra work. The Raiders just got a win last weekend. They might be coasting a little bit. They might have enjoyed the eggnog a little more than they should have.
Okay.
And it's a home game. It's the last home game for the Saints. There's something special about that, special about playing in the Superdome, special about playing in front of those fans. That, to me, will cause them to access enough talent and positivity to score 20 to the Raiders, 14. Saints win. And I don't like it that with a 2-game margin, we disagree on 2 games between 4 teams who are dead. And I have no idea what's going to be right or wrong in any of those games.
Yeah, well, I'm there with you, so we'll see. It's not like I'm sitting here going, well, I feel pretty confident in the Titans and the Raiders in this one. I got Florio, so don't worry. I'm here in I don't know whatville with these 2 games either. Right there with you.
The Indianapolis Colts coming to New York. A rematch of the greatest game ever played. This one probably won't be anywhere close to that category. The Colts are still alive, though. They're favored by 7.5. The Giants and the Colts have a 40.5 over-under. Chris, you are 10-5 straight up and 12-3 against the spread in Giants games this season. Will the Giants finally win a home game? There's been no New York team that has won at home on Sunday this year except for the Bills. MetLife Stadium, 0-11 combined so far on Sunday. Do the Giants get their first win?
No, of course not. I mean, the Giants are easily the worst team in football. I don't think that's really even close right now. And the Colts, as you've heard me say, and I said this, I think, to you on Monday, I just continue to be really impressed with Shane Steichen and the game plans he puts together. You know, again, to have a quarterback that can't really run a drop-back passing offense on a consistent basis, but yet still they put up points and make plays and keep games close. I think they're going to run the ball wherever they want against the New York Giants, and I do think that Anthony Richardson will have some big-time plays in the pass game because the Giants will be stuck in some spots where they're going to go, wait, we have to load the box. We're being overpowered. We got to play man-to-man, and that's where Shane Steichen can usually devise up some play action, cross some people up, and somebody's wide open. Between that, it's hard to get big plays against this Colts defense, and I think the Giants are done. I'm going Colts 27-17.
I got 23-10 Colts. I agree with you. Look, they can grind it out on the ground. The Giants aren't going to want to go out and play hard. There's going to be changes. Even if they keep the GM and keep the head coach, there will be personnel changes next year. It's unacceptable. It's a disaster. They've already set the franchise record for consecutive losses. They're going to set the franchise record for total losses in a season by losing on Sunday. That's not the way you want to celebrate the 100th season in franchise history. So it's bad, and it keeps getting worse. 23-10, Colts over the Giants. Cowboys and the Eagles, a game that was flexed out of 4:25 p.m. Eastern, Jerry. The big late afternoon, highest rating of the week. You got yanked. You got the big hook. The Cowboys and the Eagles, 8.5 is the spread. Philly is favored, obviously, over under 41. And by the way, the Eagles brought in Ian Book for a visit this week because Jalen Hurts is in the concussion protocol. Kenny Pickett has a rib thing. The only other quarterback in the building is Tanner McKee. I don't know how that plays out come Sunday. Yeah. I'm assuming they're going to have one or both of their top quarterbacks. With concussions, you never know.
I know.
A lot of times, guy comes back right away. A lot of times, he misses a game. We'll find out. But, Chris, who do you have?
Yeah, I'm picking the game as if Jalen Hurts is going to play, right? I'm just going to say that. And to our listeners out there, if he doesn't play, then certainly don't think the score that I pick here is going to happen, all right? That's what I will say. But I'm going to take it that he does play and look at it that way. And plus, I think, Eagles, I expect the Eagles to play top-notch football this week. After the way last week unfolded, sloppy penalties, personal fouls, drop passes, you name it, they did it last week. I think they come back motivated. I think you almost get the other side of the story with Dallas. McCarthy got his pat on the chest from Jerry Jones, it looked like, almost like, hey, you're back next year. That was a great job, and what you did on Sunday night. Between that and this is the game where Cooper Rush and the offense have been good, but I don't think that will continue this week in the cold, in Philadelphia, on the grass field. I think they're going up to the wrong mofos right here as far as Philadelphia. I'm going to take the Eagles 31-16.
I was torn on this one for a couple of reasons. Not as it relates to who wins. I think the Eagles win. The question is, do the Eagles cover or do the Cowboys cover?
Yeah.
And this gets to the whole who's going above and beyond during Christmas week. I think the Eagles recognize they're not going to be the 1 seed. They most likely will be the 2 seed. There's still a chance that they blow the division title, which gives them extra motivation to win this game, because if they lose out and if the Commanders win out, the Commanders take the division. But this is complete and total pasta and meatballs. Yeah. I think the Cowboys are going to cover. I think 8.5 is too much. I got 28-24. The Eagles still win, but I feel like it won't be a blowout. Watch, it's going to be a blowout now. I think the Cowboys will still bring enough, and they're trying to save Mike McCarthy's job. They know the season didn't end with the win over Tampa Bay on Sunday night, and even though it got flexed out of 425, I don't know how sensitive to that some of the players will be, but it is kind of a slap in the face to the Cowboys. So I just think they're still going to muster enough to keep it close. Not win it, but keep it close at 28.
Hey, listen, I don't think you're crazy there. I mean, again, if they come out and play hard and bring, physical intensity like we've kind of seen them as of late, I think their defense can be a pain in the butt. Even without Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland, and this is a big reason of why they beat Tampa last week, him covering Mike Evans, but Jordan Lewis is also a really good cover corner. So they are one of the few teams that'll be like, hey, we don't want to play man-to-man on Devontae and A.J. Brown all the time, but we feel like we can gamble and do it every now and then and feel comfortable with it. And they're one of the few teams in football that I think can feel comfortable that way against those two.
All right. The last game in the 1 o'clock window on Sunday, the Panthers at the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay's favored by 7.5 with an over-under of 48.5. Look, the Bucs need to close out one game. They need to pick up one in order to win the division. Currently, the Falcons are in control because they have the head-to-head tiebreaker. Bucs and Panthers went to overtime a few weeks back in Carolina. Carolina could have and should have won that game. And the Bucs are kind of like the NFC's version of the Ravens. When everything's clicking, they can beat anyone. But there's just too many of these weird days where things don't work and they blow a game that they should have won. So with that backdrop, who do you like in this one? Over under a 48.5, and again, it's a 7.5 point spread for Tampa Bay over Carolina.
Yeah, I honestly, as we get here into where I don't know if I think the Bucs are all that good, right? I don't. They very rarely have beat any of the top tier teams in football. The Chargers is their one thing to look at, and as we know, the Chargers are barely hanging on the AFC too. I think the problem with the Bucs is, of course, not the offense. The offense is phenomenal. The defense is pitiful. They've still, one, the secondary gets abused too much. Two, watching the game the other night, I made fun of it as I was watching live and doing my podcast with Devin McCourty, basically going, look at this. I mean, the Bucs are playing defense like they're playing the 92 Cowboys and Emmitt Smith. There's 5 and 6 people at the line of scrimmage. We can't let them run, or Larry Allen and Emmett are going to beat us that way. Adjust. You're getting torn up in the pass game. CeeDee Lamb's one-on-one and just destroying you. I'm a head coach who's a defensive head coach that makes millions of dollars. Let's adjust. And that's where you just worry about Tampa Bay. They just are so meatheadish. It's always stop the run, stop the run. Yeah, but they're the worst running team in football. Stop the run. So that's what you don't know what to expect from them. I'm going to expect that their offense kicks some ass this week and their defense comes to play, and Panthers are a little bit feeling good about their win last week. I'm going to go 28-20. I feel good about them winning, covering the spread. I don't feel great about.
Yeah, I don't feel great about my score in this one either. I think the Bucs win. I got 27-23. I just think the Panthers have tapped into something where they are showing up every week and they're playing hard. Yeah. And they're trying to lay the foundation for next year. And guys are trying to earn spots on the team next year when they presumably will be better. And Bryce Young's trying to prove that he can play at a high level in the NFL. So, and it's division rivalry, and the Panthers have a chance to spoil things for the Buccaneers. So I think that keeps it close, but I could see it also being an easy cover. That's why they make it difficult to pick these games, because the spread puts us in a bind. it seems like it's too much, so I'll go the Panthers to cover. All right, let's take a break. When we return, just a small handful of late afternoon games for the 17th Sunday of the 2024 season. We'll go over all of the next, headlined by Baru, the Packers and the Vikings.
Oh, you got a pick.
DraftKings Sportsbook is the number one place to bet touchdowns, and new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code PFTLive when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. And as always, please bet responsibly, only with money that you are prepared to lose, because if you listen to me, especially lately, you shall. It's the PFTPM Chris Simms Unbuttoned Picks podcast, delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the National Football League.
Pizza.
All right, there's only 2 late afternoon games on Sunday. Just 2. Lately, there have been like 7, it feels like.
Yeah,
just 2.
There's been 5, a lot.
And there's a big one in Cleveland. It's funny. There was one of those AI-generated images of the kid who's opening the Christmas present, and he's crying, and the parents and the grandparents are behind him giving him the finger. I don't know if you saw that yesterday, but It was a ticket to the Dolphins-Browns game that the kid was distraught about. So this was going to be the Sunday night game. The NFL wisely getting it the flex out of Sunday night. Dolphins are favored by 6.5 on the road in late December in Cleveland. That's how bad the Browns are right now, that the team that can't win in December on the road is favored by almost a touchdown to win. Over under of 39.5. 84% of the spread money is on Miami. Are you on Miami to cover?
I am on Miami, and I am on them to cover, but I don't know if I feel great about all of that. Am I a little worried? Cold, windy, stadium by the lake and all that? Added that to Tua? Yeah, that's an issue. He might throw 20-yard balls across the middle that'll stay in the air for 74 seconds. So that's what you have to worry about in these type of elements for the Dolphins a little bit. But I think all in all, the Dolphins are still playing for something. It's still a possibility that they can get into the playoffs, and it's not crazy. It's not. So between that and then, to me, like, no Jameis Winston kind of just ends it for the Browns. DTR has shown no ability to really be a starter or be that guy as of yet in the NFL. I mean, last week, honestly, that had a game. If you go back and watch that, you go, if Jameis Winston played, that game might have been there to steal for the Browns. But instead, they went with DTR. They wanted to see where that goes, and I just don't have any faith. And this is still a good Miami defense. It is that. I think the Dolphins, with their little short passing game and all that, are more apt to handle the cold weather than maybe years past. I'll take Dolphins 24-13 on the road.
High of 48, low of 39.
That's
winds
not bad.
Gusting up to 25 miles an hour.
The wind, though, that's a
forecast.
thing. Ooh,
right.
Ooh.
Look, the Dolphins are still trying to reverse narratives, and I don't want to hear the crowing from Mike McDaniel and company that if they beat the Browns, it somehow gets the monkey off their back. Beating the Browns, these Browns who seem to be soft tanking, and we know they have a history of soft tanking because they've had bonuses paid out in the past to coaches and executives based upon how much cap space they could carry over.
Yeah, you think Jameis Winston not playing is part of this whole thing, or do you think it was more DTR trying to? Yeah.
I can't prove it, but again, they got away with a soft tank under Hugh Jackson. He filed an arbitration claim with the league over it, saying they made me the scapegoat. They have a soft tank in place. They have a formula that is conducive to losing, and then we lose, and I get fired for it. So I think they understand they need better draft picks next year. They have to try to put a competitive team on the field despite owing Deshaun Watson $46 million next year and $46 million the year after. So I think that's part of it. I don't think they want to win. But even then, the Dolphins are going to try to give it to them because the Dolphins can't get it done outdoors in December. And the Dolphins kind of know, look, the Dolphins are either done or they're going to go to the playoffs and lose in the first round. This show does not travel, and we know it. We've seen it. I still have the Dolphins 20-17. So they win, they don't cover, and they're going to act like that this has somehow exercised all of their demons, and then they'll find out the next time they go on the road when it's cold that it hasn't.
No, I know. I know what you're saying. It certainly won't go over anywhere with me if they do win this. This is like in the category of, no, you should win this. I don't give a damn what the elements are or where the game's played, so you don't get any notch on any belt or a pelt on a horse or a wall or none of that crap. You should. So we'll see where it goes, but yeah, I mean, you look at the Dolphins, what do they need to happen? I mean, if the Broncos lose twice, right, and I think the Colts maybe have to lose too, they're going to be in. That's not crazy to think that can happen. I mean, with the way the Chargers and the Broncos have looked as of late, would I be sitting here shocked? Like if the Chargers somehow lost to the Patriots? No, I will not be shocked. Would it be surprising? Yes, but shocking? No. So I would surely hope that Miami is ready to play their best ball this weekend.
Yeah, the problem is by the time they kick off,
they're going to kind of
they might know they're
That's
already
right.
screwed.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
I still think they go on the road, they win. It's a little bit of a building block that is going to be misleading because it doesn't mean that all of a sudden they figured out how to win on the road in December because they should beat the Browns, and I feel like the Browns want to lose. They want to have the highest draft pick possible, and of course they never say it. First rule of Tank Club is never talk about Tank Club. All right, two teams that are definitely not tanking, two teams at the other end of the spectrum, the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. Back in Week 4, when Jordan Love was coming back from the MCL sooner than he should have, we believed at the time, the Vikings at Lambeau Field ran out to a 28-0 lead and held on to secure the victory and move to 4-0. The Packers have only lost a couple of games since then. The Packers have lost twice to the Lions, once to the Eagles, once to the Vikings. Elite teams they've lost to. The Vikings are 13-2. I'm 13-2 straight up picking Vikings games and 11-3-1 against the spread. And I haven't picked the outcome of I haven't picked the Vikings to win every week and they've won 13 and lost 2. I've picked other teams to win. I've picked them to lose to the 49ers. And I might pick them to lose today. Who knows? They're underdogs at home by a point, which seems a little kooky, but it's a reflection of, number one, as you say, the Vikings are the most overlooked 13-2 team we've ever seen, and everybody thinks the Packers have that Super Bowl or Super Bowl glow to them, and that's why the betting is a little out of whack. Where if this was at Lambeau, the Packers would presumably be favored by 4 points,
right?
So or more. So they're 1-point favorites at Minnesota. Chris, do you want me to go? Or do you want to go?
Of course you got to go.
Give me something about the game. We got time to kill on this.
Yeah, cool.
One. Give me your initial thought on it, and then I'll give you my pick.
Yeah, all good. I mean, you are wearing a Viking sweatshirt, so I feel like you got to lead it off. But yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest things is Minnesota's run defense, right, which is one of the best in football, against what I would call the best traditional run game in football, right? I know they don't have Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen to add to the running stack. I'm talking about running back, hand off the ball up the middle. Green Bay's running offense in that capacity rivals anybody. It's as good as anybody in the sport, right? And then to couple that, like we talk about it all the time, they're a team that loves play action pass. They make you defend the whole field, and they're very good at when they drop back to pass. They got a lot of creative ways to hit 20 and 25-yard throws. So where that could pose problems for your Minnesota Vikings defense is, right, hey, we're down there in the box. We want to scare them from the run. We want to be down in there, but we're going to bail out, right? Oh, wait, okay, ready, set, hut. Oh, wait, we're bail out. Oh, wait, it looks like he's about to give the ball to Josh Jacobs. Hold on. Oh, no, he kept it play action. Now I got to run back. Or Romeo Dobbs and other guys, Jaden Reed, are going downfield. That's where I think it can pose some problems to the creativity of the Vikings defense. I think you'll have to be a little careful about how much you disguise and try to back out of looks, because you could get out of position, right, to where that could get you gashed a little bit. So that's something Brian Flores is going to have to mess with and tinker with a little bit on that side of the ball. And I think that's really, to me, the biggest part of the matchup. And that's where I'd ask you. I mean, what do you think? You think Green Bay can run the ball on this Minnesota defense and the way they played throughout the year?
Let me ask you this. In your review of the film from the first time around, how much of it was Jordan Love just shouldn't have been playing, and how much of it was Brian Flores and company did a great job of confounding him as he made his decisions and as the Packers tried to get their offense going?
No, I think it was a lot of Jordan Love rusty, and they didn't even trust him at that point. That's why I think it's a different matchup. They're playing at a different level right now as far as the way he's playing. And then, like you heard me say at those times, like they were managing Jordan Love just up until 3 or 4 weeks ago, really, just because of the injury, lack of practice time. You didn't trust where the ball was going to go. It was kind of everywhere. So that's where I think it's different. He's playing pretty efficient right now, and they got that run game rolling to a different capacity. So that's where I don't expect those type of results. I am going to take the Packers here. All right, I'm going to go Packers 30-23. I think kind of a late touchdown wins it for them, or a late field goal makes them go up by 7, something of that nature. But I think they will control this game, and I think the Packers are rounding into shape to be Super Bowl-ish, like you talked about.
I have become a believer in the Vikings becoming the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
To get there, it would be helpful to beat the Packers on Sunday. Now, they could still lose. If the Lions lose Monday night, then it would be winner take all the following weekend. But I think the Vikings are going to do it. I think they're going to win the next 2. I don't know what's going to happen after that. I have no idea. But I think they're going to win the next 2 and take the 1 seed. Yes, it would be a great story, and sometimes I'm influenced by that more than I should be. But it's just amazing to think how good they've been and how much better they've gotten. Something clicked for that team in the second half of the Cardinals game. And they have been pretty damn good ever since. It was 21-21 against the Falcons, and then they hit the gas pedal and they win 42-21. The Bears game, there were moments, there were inflection points, but it never really felt like the Bears were going to win that game. It was interesting at times. And then this past weekend, to do what they did in Seattle, they have a tough time winning in Seattle. They hadn't won there since 2006. They've had their asses kicked there in the past. And that throw that Sam Darnold made, I think one of the best throws of the entire season, sprinting up into the pocket and hitting Justin Jefferson. So I think the Vikings will pull this off. I've got 30-27. That was the final score of one of the worst games in Vikings history, the 1998 NFC Championship overtime. Falcons 30, Vikings 27. I think the Vikings win this one 30-27, setting the stage for next week, winner take all, 1 seed or 5 seed, Cowboys Giants 1993 style. 49ers, Seahawks, 2019 style.
Yeah.
I feel like it's coming, and that requires the Vikings to win.
That would be awesome. I hear you. I certainly don't think it's crazy. I just feel like this Green Bay team is rounded into form. And I think it's a little bit of – I know people are talking about them lately. The one thing they're not talking about is their defense, right? They're one of the rare teams in football that really are – top offensive football, one of the top defenses in football. That's going to be interesting too. And then there's no Jair Alexander as of yet, right? Which will make a big deal if they can get him healthy for the playoffs. But
he's done well against Justin Jefferson,
exactly.
too.
He's one of the few guys you can feel like he can match up and do that a little bit. It'd be exciting. I'm pumped to watch that game, almost standalone-ish on Sunday afternoon and give you crap the whole time.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to that as
good.
well. All right, let's take a break. When we return, the primetime games for Week 17, Sunday night and Monday night. We'll do that next on PFTPM and Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
DraftKings Sportsbook is the number 1 place to bet touchdowns, and new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your bets win. Download the app, use the promo code UNBUTTONED when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
PFTPM, Chris Simms Unbuttoned, Joint Mega Picks podcast delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the National Football League.
Pizza. Are you going to have like
football
some tonight? Are you going to do that tonight, or are you a little stuffed from just the last few days of Christmas food and all that?
What I'm going to do tonight, because my family from Ohio is still here.
Yeah.
And whenever I make pizza with the shells from Tomorrow's Bakery and the sauce that I buy, the special sauce and the meats, the selection of meats that just make it perfect, and I cook it without the cheese on it, and I put the cheese on after it comes out of the oven.
Wow.
I send them pictures of that, and I told them next time you're here, I'm making it. So I got to run to the store and get all the stuff and hope all the stuff I need is there, and I'm going to make that pizza.
All right, well, make sure you send a picture to me, too. I want to see if it's actually as good as you say it is. I'd like to know that tonight.
Looking at it, yeah, and then they'll put it on social media, and everybody will drag me because the pizza isn't cooked. What's wrong with you? The cheese isn't cooked. Okay, the Falcons and the Commanders, neither of those teams are cooked. It's one of the rare, both teams alive, both sides of this coin interesting. Commanders favored by 4. Michael Penix Jr. getting his second start. Jaden Daniels trying to nail down Offensive Rookie of the Year, 47.5 over/under. Who you got?
Well, I think the pressure will be on Michael Penix on this one. Just the way Washington plays, and I think the way they're going to approach the game, they're almost going to be forced into, hey, if Michael Penix beats us, then so be it, but that's what we have to do. Because I do think Washington's in trouble here in this matchup of they could get run over a little bit by the Falcons' run game if they don't approach it the right way. All right, so that's what I do look like. And I think they're going to call the gamble and just be like, hey, we're in the box, we're loaded the box, we're worried about Bijan, you got a good O-line. We're going to see if Michael Penix can make some big throws down the football field here now. And we'll see. With Lattimore there, it changes their defense a little bit, right? So that'll be interesting. I think the other side of the ball, I just feel like this is a good matchup for Jaden Daniels, and that Atlanta plays a ton of zone defense. And I just feel like when you play zone defense against Jaden Daniels, he slowly but surely will pick you apart. They're one of those teams, Mike, that, we talk about. They can be surgical. They can go on 12-play, 70-yard drives on a consistent basis, and he'll just make all the right plays and scramble every now and then, and they'll stay with the run. I'm going to go with the Commanders. I like Atlanta. I like the Michael Penix story. It's cool, but I'm still going to go with the Commanders, 23-17.
I got 27-20. I was hoping for a bingo-bango there, but 27-20. Look, it's one thing to beat the Giants when you get a couple of pick sixes from your defense. This is a tougher spot. It's on the road. It's outdoors. It's prime time. Michael Penix is unflappable. I just don't think the rest of the Falcons team is good enough to allow him to overcome a Commanders team that's got a nice little shot in the ass after last week, beating the Philadelphia Eagles and still alive for the NFC East. And, hey, if the Cowboys beat the Eagles, that changes everything, too, because the Commanders can, we run it down to week 18.
Yeah.
And, the Eagles are playing the Giants, but still, you never know what may happen. You keep it alive for one more week. All right, Monday Night Football. Boy, this is one of those games when the schedule came out. You just circle it. But the problem is when you have an NFC Championship rematch this late in the year, there's a chance that one of the teams is going to be cooked, and it's not going to be as great of a game. Lions going back to San Francisco, site of the place where they had a 17-point lead and blew it. 49ers are done. They're playing for pride. Lions playing for the 1 seed. Although, Chris, this game has that interesting wrinkle that if the Vikings win, the Lions don't need to win or lose the Monday night game. It still comes down to week 18. The only way this game matters to the Lions is if the Vikings lose, the Lions can claim the 1 seed. So I worry about the game being irrelevant to the Lions and what that might mean, but I'm operating under the assumption the Vikings win, which means the game's irrelevant to the Lions. I still don't know which way to go with it because I think Dan Campbell's still going to be looking to make kneecap soup regardless of whether or not they need the game.
I think that's the bottom line, Mike. I think that's where you should go there. I just look at it and go, I think this is they're talking themselves into we're hot going in the playoffs, right? They don't want to hear about injuries, banged up defense. They want to feel like they're playing great football, and I think that's the way they'll approach it. A little bit of like me against the world type attitude from the Lions right now. And it just feels like, the 49ers are cooked. They're cooked. It's just all come to a head here. It's over. They're done. Again, we've seen mistakes, the injuries, the offseason crap, the missed field goals, the other special teams miscues. It's just all of that. They got to go back and retool and recalibrate this offseason. Lions 31-21.
I got 34-20 Lions. They will be playing to win regardless of whether or not they need it. The 49ers, I think, are just the epitome of a team limping to the finish line. A lot of guys injured and not playing. Why put any of these guys at risk who have had serious injuries like Dre Greenlaw? Protect some of these guys. And they got some decisions to make in the offseason, starting with quarterback. Does Brock Purdy get big money, or do they make him play out one more year? Or do they even take a shot at a guy like Sam Darnold, bring him back and let him compete with Purdy? That's how bad it's been this year for the 49ers. All right, let's take a break. When we return, best bets, Folsom Prison Blues, and if they can get him up here, a special guest as we wrap up PFTPM and Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
Hey, get that kid up here.
PFTPM, Chris Simms Unbuttoned Joint Mega Picks podcast, delivered by Little Caesars, official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Pizza. Say pizza. Hey, what you doing, man?
It's Miles.
He looking good. Miles is looking good.
Give him a wave.
What
Give
a
him
cutie.
a wave.
What's up, man? How are you? He can't hear me, right?
No, he can't hear.
Good thing he can't hear me.
Oh, no. Hope you didn't hear that. Say hello, Chris. Say hello, Chris.
Hello, Miles. You are a cutie.
Right.
It's hard to think that you're related to that guy next to you. I can't even believe that.
He said I'm ugly. Tell him up yours.
He's like, I don't know that one
Okay,
yet.
don't. One of us needs a new diaper. I'm not sure which one.
Oh, good. That's perfect.
There's a chance it's me. All right, best bets time. Chris, who you got?
I'm going the Colts. 7.5. The Giants. The Giants stink. The Colts need it. I think the Colts are going to run over the Giants. Giants can't stop the run.
Chargers given 4.5. Chargers
Okay.
all over the Patriots. Patriots took the week off.
All right, I'm going Eagles. How about them Cowboys? Nope, I think they're not going to be looking good this weekend. Eagles will be motivated. I'm picking it as Hurts is playing. I sure the hell hope he's not, or I'm going to be real nervous about that.
I'll take the Lions, giving the points to the 49ers on Monday night.
Good.
I think it's going to be a blowout. He's ready to go. Here you go.
I hear. He said the
All right.
hell with you. I hope he left a mark on your pants there. My
he did.
last one will be the over in the Bengals-Broncos game. I think we're going to go over in that one, and I'm going to do it.
Baru. He turned his head and looked at me when I said it. I'm taking the Vikings, getting 1 point. I
Okay.
think they're going to win, so give me the one. I'll take the one.
Sure, I hear you. All right. So who's your Folsom County Blues?
The Bills.
The Bills?
The Bills.
I'm
Against the
going to
Jets.
go. Ooh, yeah, the Bills is actually a pretty good one. Maybe that's what I need to go to. I actually wasn't sure. Nah, screw it. I'm still going to go the Eagles over the Cowboys. I'm going to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's go Cowboys.
I'm crushing
All right, not that
Jerry
we really
this
care
weekend.
about that.
Yeah.
We disagree on 3. 2 games that don't mean anything, and Vikings, Packers. Go, Pack, go. No.
Merry
go
Christmas,
Vikings.
everybody. Peace
That's
out.
it.
See ya.
Enjoy the games.
Yo, homies. Thanks for watching. Yeah, it's time. The NFL season is here on Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
You can hit subscribe to get all the weekly picks, plus our Sunday recaps as the games are happening.
Oh, you know it. Nobody does that better than us. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out. We'll see you next time on Unbuttoned.